The end of 2022 and the holiday season is right around the corner. You're probably eager to spend some cash, so is the Quest 2 still worth it? Let's see if we can help you answer that. Before that, if you're new to the channel, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you're a returning viewer, thank you. I read each and every one of your comments and your support means a lot. Alright then, let's get to the review. Here's what we'll cover. Starting off with the good, even after 2 years, there are few products like the Quest 2. Despite the price increase from $300 to $400, there isn't much that compares in that range for the features it offers. As a standalone device, for instance, you can buy apps using your phone without ever needing to use a separate computer, and while that may not necessarily be the best use case for the Quest 2, more on that later. Additionally, the Quest 2 can be used wirelessly, and while the tether offers benefits like higher quality image, I personally don't have the space or wiring setup to accommodate something like that, so wireless play is the way to go for me. On top of that, the Quest 2 can play desktop apps, or more accurately, apps designed for the Rift. You can also play Steam VR games without the need for additional hardware like a wireless kit or running a cable from your PC, or one of those dongles. This can be achieved through Oculus Air Link, or my preferred method, Virtual Desktop. Virtual Desktop even works outside of your house, so if you're streaming from your home-based PC, assuming you have a good connection, it'll work even from, say, your friend's house, assuming they also have a good connection. For specs, while the headset is dated, it still holds up over something like the Quest 1, which had superior black levels, but also very noticeable screen door effect. Yes, there are competitors now with superior specs, but by and large, there are compromises like price, not being able to be used wirelessly, or what have you. The last nice thing for Quest 2 owners is the number of accessories out there, like these ones. And because the Quest 2 is so readily available, that also means a ton of different options for attachments and add-ons like extra battery packs, halo head straps, or knuckle grip style controller covers are purchasable and really offer the ability to tailor the experience to you. Obviously there are bad add-ons, but we won't get into that here. So what makes buying a Quest 2 right now bad? Well, as mentioned, it's old hardware compared to the competition. If you're looking into VR stuff now, you've likely heard of the new Pico 4 and Quest Pro. While the Quest Pro really isn't comparable to the Quest 2 simply based on price, the Pico 4 is basically the same price, though not yet available in the US markets as of this video. Not only is the Pico 4 competitive price-wise, it's also got newer hardware, making it lighter and coming with better visuals. That device is also capable of being used as a standalone headset using Pico's store and also for Steam VR, as far as I know. Unfortunately, I don't have one on hand to test. And then if we're talking about other competitors, Pimax announced this interesting device, the Pimax Portal, which, based on specs anyway, should provide better visuals than both the Quest 2 and the Pico 4, albeit at a higher cost. Still nowhere near that $1,500 Quest Pro price though. The other elephants in the room are the leaked Quest 3 and Valve's new headset codenamed Deckard. While those devices should be more expensive than a Quest 2, you'd also expect them to be at the very least a better value than the Quest Pro and at least higher spec than a Quest 2. So on to the add-ons for a second. There are a lot to choose from, which is good, but the head strap you start with when you get the device is trash, to put it mildly. That's why every content creator you see using a Quest 2 has an aftermarket strap. Literally nobody likes the stock strap, not even Zuck himself. And the Elite strap is just as bad, if not worse. It's prone to breaking, and for 60 bucks, that feels bad, man. And that's not even the one with the battery, which costs 120 bucks. One other issue for the Quest 2 is the Oculus app and ecosystem itself. True, you don't need to use it, but if you do make purchases on it and then later down the line decide to upgrade or switch companies, like to go with Pico, your purchases will now be locked within the Meta store. Yes, you can say the same thing about Steam as a whole, but I'm just listing the Oculus store as a negative because I don't like Facebook and I hate calling them Meta. So I would prefer not to be locked into their ecosystem. Plus, pretty much every VR headset out there supports Steam VR or PCVR. I'll also add here that anything purchased for the Quest 2 specifically as an exclusive is going to be worse looking than the Steam VR or PC equivalent. Sure, you don't need another PC to play those exclusives, but graphics and or performance will definitely take a hit. There's just a cost to these things and there's no way around it. It's a hardware limitation. So that brings up a larger issue about the Quest 2 and its function as a standalone device. I almost exclusively use it for Steam VR And though I have made a few purchases for exclusives like the Darth Vader series, which you still need a PC to run, I would definitely have preferred not to do that, and I'll likely not make another Oculus Store purchase again. So if that's the case, standalone function is largely pointless for someone like me. And on the flip side, for someone who uses standalone only and doesn't have a gaming PC to play PCVR from, will be missing out as well. So in both scenarios, you're potentially paying for features that you simply won't use. The last thing I'll say is more of a PCVR issue in general, but it's worth mentioning here for anyone planning to use the Quest 2 like I do. It's not exactly plug and play. No, it's not rocket science to get PC games working with your VR headset, but to say you'll have a smooth, bug-free experience is probably not true. Every other time I boot up the Quest 2 and try to play some Steam VR, there's probably an error with plugins being blocked, Steam VR not detecting the headset, or the game crashing. It's not enough to stop me from playing, but it's obviously annoying. So should you buy a Quest 2 right now? My current stance is no. Even if there are promotions to drop the price back down to $300, sort of like the ones I've seen floating around for $350, which gives you Beat Saber and Resident Evil 4. I think it's a hard sell because someone would be better off waiting for either the Pico 4 to hit their local market or to wait and see what the competitors will do. If you're in a country that sells the Pico 4 now, well, that's a harder choice. And in that scenario, I might be inclined to say, just get whatever is cheaper. The other hard choice would be if you plan to use it solely as a standalone device and don't have or don't plan to play PCVR with it. In that scenario, on top of whichever is priced better, I'll also add, which device do you think is going to have the better store and the better store exclusives down the line? So that'll be it for today's review. Thanks again for watching, and please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you liked the video, and let me know which headset you think is worth your money. Until next time. GG.